The UFL Gambling Podcast Week 8 preview and picks and DFS episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's offered plenty of markets this week for the PGA Championship that you really can't find anywhere else. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Football is a unique American experience. A game described by one turn-of-the-century critic as crude and barbaric, with little chance of survival. But survive it did.
I don't give a damn who you are. This is America, Jack. You know how to play winning Cardinals football?
Being played in the United States Football League.
We sometimes forget that football, being the consummate team sport, is a great deal more successful when you do play as a unit and don't rely on individual talent. Frankly, I'm impressed with the USFL.
America, this league is good for America, and football is a sport that is made for television.
That is football.
Unlike spring football is going to work in America.
You play to win the game. And now it is time for our USFL report.
Boom, we are back. Week 8 UFL preview and picks. We finally got lines. We wanted to bring you this episode yesterday, but somebody was slacking somewhere in the world because we didn't have lines. So we just thought, hey, we're not just going to do an episode, as much as we want to just talk about ourselves for an hour. We're not just going to give you that. But hop on over to YouTube, youtube.com/@UFL Gambling Pod. You can watch this show live. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
We got 4 football games this weekend, boys. I'm excited. We got crazy spreads. We got the largest spread we've ever seen in the United Football League. We're the intersection of crossroads and bullshit. 4th and 12s. I'm joined by my co-host. He's the host of the Bottom Line Bob's podcast. Go check that out. He's got guests over there all the time. They're talking golf, hockey, NBA, whatever's happening in the sports world. Although I don't think he foresaw what happened today in the golf world. But call him the man in the box, aka the bet detective. I give you a seat, Jay Sullivan. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Thank you very much, Cole. Great introduction. I believe you're talking about the arrest of Scotty Scheffler this morning. It's getting rough in these golf streets, but that is the perfect story for me. And not only am I the bet detective, not only am I the man in the box, not only the laddie daddy, but I'm also in the golf world known as Scumbagger Vance. And so I'm all over a story of the world's best golfer getting arrested by some Kentucky cops, getting a little too Kentucky copping.
When I woke up and saw the headline, I was like, it's got to be like, as a guy that has once went to Beach Week in Daytona Beach, Florida, and was a bit hungover and walked into a Hooters, and John Daly tried to sell me his autograph on a glove about 30 times while he was consuming pitchers of beer. I thought for sure minus 10,000 this was John Daly with the headline, but it turns out it was not. Pretty shocking though, right?
Also, what a bad beat for that guy who got hit by the shuttle bus and died.
Fuck?
Not only does he die by getting hit by a shuttle bus, but then he's in the news for exactly 1 hour. And it gets trumped immediately as Scotty Scheffler gets thrown into clink for disobeying a security guard.
how does this happen, by the way? Who's driving this bus? What do we got going on here?
With the shuttle bus situation, it's chaos. Yeah. If you ever gone to any golf event like that, it's pure fucking chaos down there. It's far like 5 in the morning. It's pitch black. Everyone's wearing security guards. I mean, there's golfers that just abandon their car and just start walking there because it's all fucking traffic and this car. I can see it very easily. Especially when they don't. As soon as they got rid of metal spikes, you can't hear these golfers anymore. They're very quiet now. Now the soft spikes are very quiet.
Oh man! Well, look, this guy abandoned his car a long time ago for one of these no-turn lawnmowers. He is the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast and the NFL Gambling Podcast. Yeah, I heard him everywhere. CFL Gambling Podcast with myself. Look, give it up for Justin Mark, aka J Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. It's fucking Friday, guys. Excited to watch some UFL, and shout out to the chat. David says, great way to end the work week with a show on Friday afternoon. Instead of staring at his spreadsheet, he can listen to us. So what a great way to end the work week indeed.
You ever been hit by a bus, J Mark?
No, I have dodged all buses.
Yeah.
CJ, you ever been hit by a bus?
Never been hit by closest, but I hit by a bus, but I thought that's what J Mark was saying. I've had close calls for sure. I've definitely come up blind spots. Whoa, like one of those nylon commercials or something. Whoa, and you get splashed, with the fucking first is a traffic light, and then you can think back oh, okay, that could have been it right there. Because you're not walking away from a bus hit.
No, I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing. Now I want to know how you would describe this. So I grew up right next to a school. And they would park all the county school buses in this parking lot where we would play. So we love football so much that when it got dark, we didn't have any lights for our field, but there were lights underneath the parking lot. So we would play a thing called night football in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And the buses were parked there. So one of the things when you're playing wideout, if you're running and going for the catch, I did get KO'd, and I'm not officially KO'd, but I did eat shit pretty bad by hitting a bus. Now the bus was parked and I was the moving object.
I was just gonna say I've gone into a parked bus before. I mean, come on.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
I mean, exactly. We're all in our 40s. Everyone in their 40s has hit a bus, right?
I don't want to know you if you haven't ran into a parked bus before.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Me
okay.
Myself, I was learning to ride my bike without training wheels and ran into a parked
bike's fine.
Bus.
That's acceptable. Riding your bike into a bus is fine too.
Right.
Yeah. But this is the other way around. He might have not got that memo when I was talking about night football a few months back on the other pod. Look, we got lines. What's going on, by the way? Is this because of the playoff scenario or the guy for DK have the flu?
Gotta be.
What happened?
I think it's 100% AJ McCarron. It's just he's the
league's face.
They didn't want to set a line because they don't know AJ McCarron's ankle. Even Tamu to a extent with his concussion, but it's AJ McCarron, and if they can't have lines, nobody can have lines because it just sets a fucking tone. They're just waiting on his status, I believe, and then that's it.
I still haven't seen an official report on that status.
He didn't practice Thursday. McCarron didn't.
Mm-hmm. They signed a quarterback. They signed who did they sign? Drew Plitt.
Yeah.
Yep. And Tamu has been limited all week.
Tamu, I imagine he will play. He's a concussion, right?
He's been limited all year, if you ask me.
From that completely legal hit.
Zing.
Yeah. Ridiculous. All right, let's hop into these games. Some other news. Wait. San Antonio's going back to Normandy, huh?
Mm.
Hogan didn't do enough. Shout out to Kitch in the chat. About time I caught you guys live. We appreciate you tuning in, Kitch. San Antonio named him the starting quarterback. Brian Lewerke is going to start for the Michigan Panthers. Somebody give me a whiskey. And what else? Adrian Martinez was named the starter of the Birmingham Stallions. I don't know why I need to tell you that. You would just assume that the best player in the league would start, but it's where the path of crossroads meet the BS. So, look, game one, we got this game's 1:00 on Saturday, Pacific time. The Memphis Showboats are heading up to that ridiculous Ford Field. Do you think this win streak for Michigan will have this crowd at, say, 7,000 instead of 5,000? And I don't even believe it's 5,000, by the way. That's counting the concessions. You know what I mean? It's counting the broadcasters. What do you think?
But the crowd, come on,
Yeah.
this is the last game, probably the last game in Michigan, right? I mean, they still do have home field is still eligible for them, right? J Mark,
Yeah.
am I right about that?
Yeah. Both sides. There is some meaningful games in a way. Michigan can still, they play Birmingham the final game of the year. So
yeah. It's kind of wild to think that Birmingham hasn't clinched anything yet since they haven't lost in 3 years. But I mean, of course they clinched playoffs, but whatever. Anyway,
fair point.
Well, I don't get brain bag.
That fits even better because it skips dad.
Yeah. As far as this game goes, I mean, you have to like Michigan here.
The line is Michigan what, minus 8.5. The total is 47.
Mm-hmm.
Not me, buddy. Not me. I'm jumping on them showboats.
Okay.
All right, let's ride them showboats because here's my logic here. Can you count on Mike Nolan to do the right thing and start Bryce Perkins? No, you can't. Lewerke is the guy. I don't like that with an offense. Only Skip Holtz has shown that can, and Spurrier have ever been able to balance quarterbacks all year. If Perkins gets in and plays majority of the game, maybe I lose, but I am going to take some of that showboat action. I think they cover that number. Michigan wins on one of these Jake Bates 75-yarders. Remember when Lane Kiffin and put out Janikowski for that 75-yarder? That was great. I'm taking the points. I think it's too much in a game like this where there's too many unknowns.
I mean, it's a bit much for Michigan to be laying, even though they're coming off a nice win for sure of DC on the road.
And Cookus is starting for Memphis.
Good for them. But the point is, I don't care if they're playing two quarterbacks. You can throw me and J Mark. We can rotate us. We're playing this Memphis defense, who've been outscored by 88 points, the league by far the worst in the league. Their offense is even worse. I mean, they're the worst team all year long. I mean, this is insane. They'll give up 41 points a game the last 5 weeks, I believe it was. They're last in the league in offensive yards gained. I think they've averaged 4.9 per pass, something like that. I think I read 3.5 per run. The only reason why they do score is they get points off turnovers. I mean, they're lucky to. It should be even worse than they are. This is only, of course, their one win week 1 versus Houston. They're absolutely pathetic. There's no way you're going to get me to back Memphis at all coming into the rest of the season. So I like, and Michigan looking decent. They're not in the top echelon with Birmingham and St. Louis, even though I know they beat St. Louis. They're gonna try hard for this. Memphis is just an absolute disaster. They just played a couple weeks ago. They won by 17 on the road. And I don't care. Cookus got in there. Doesn't matter.
That was Williams. That was Williams, right?
Williams came in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Well, look. I think there's an advantage of playing a team twice.
Yeah, there is, and there's a couple of those this week. But unless one of those teams is Memphis, then because anyone can play them twice. That's the only time it doesn't sit right.
I still think Michigan's going to win.
Okay,
8.5 is a big number.
Coward, take the money line if you're going to take.
No, I got some other money line plays I'll sprinkle.
All right, fair enough. I like that, and also these overs been hitting by a mile too because they can't stop anybody. And and I know Michigan defense too.
I'll take the over here too.
Yeah, I'll definitely take the over, and I think Michigan wins in a rout.
J Mark, what are you doing here at Filthy Ford Field?
I'm also all over Michigan. I mean, Memphis's offensive line, it doesn't matter who's quarterbacking, it's terrible. Right. You put us 3 on the defensive line, I think we all get a sack at least.
I got a double.
They're terrible. They're terrible.
Swindle.
I don't think Memphis is going to be able to move the ball enough against this Panthers defense. So I like Panthers in the points here.
Come on, guys, a little too chalk. But everyone's going to be on, and there's no way this is going to hit for Michigan. Let's go ride up on those boats. Ride the boats.
All right.
Later that day. Saturday, tomorrow, the biggest spread in the history of honestly, I think it's the biggest spread in the history of UFL, XFL, and USFL. The Birmingham Stallions are laying 16. We talked about this a week ago. Reed Sennett starting for Houston, by the way, and Martinez starting for Birmingham. It's a great letdown spot. I know Birmingham is still the face of the league in a way, but I'm on Houston plus the 16. That defense, the Roughnecks have, I know they chart at 4th from a yardage standpoint, but they're actually much better than 4th. They're just on the field the most out of anyone in this whole entire league. I will take the 16 with the Roughnecks. We saw Skip Holtz do this last year when they lost to Memphis. right? We saw I know him from ECU. I can remember they were about to clinch. Well, we still went to the CUSA championship. They lost to the Rice Owls in a game that shouldn't have lost that game. But that's why I think the Roughnecks, I think we sprinkle a little bit of that plus 1,000. Woo!
He did the same thing at the Patriot League with Holy Cross, by the way.
That's what I'm saying, buddy. There's an opportunity here. Give me the points all day. Reed Sennett's and Birmingham's still dinged up in the secondary a little bit. I think Houston might be able to actually score more than 9 points this week. So I will take the points all day here. And I am going to just sprinkle a tiny bit on the money line there. And I will also take the over 43.
Well, I'm on the opposite here. It is definitely a letdown spot for Birmingham. I don't think they're resting CJ Marble. I know they're resting a couple other players. I just don't think it'll matter. I can definitely be swayed into Houston. Repeat game, like you said, off advantage playing. Of course, that score was 32-9 in week 5 when they played each other. A 23-point victory. But at the same time, they do need the victory. So they're not going to just absolutely sit up, ice everybody. Houston just can't score. That's why I can't follow you on the over. I like, actually, if I want, my favorite side of this game is the under of 43. Houston, here's a couple stats for you. I wrote down stats, guys. They've only reached 20 points once this season. And only one out of their 7 games has a total gone over 43. So if you're wanting this thing to go over 43, Birmingham's going to have to do more than the heavy lifting in this one.
Well, I mean, Birmingham's the number 1 offense in the leagues. They're going to get into the 30s by themselves, right?
True, but Houston has not scored over 12 points in the last 3 games. Over 12. And that was
Reed Sennett's guy. Look,
yeah, I know Reed Sennett's guy.
he knows what a no-turn lawnmower is. He's got this thing figured out. J Mark, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Also, just touch on that last game real quick. I don't know about money placed wagers, but tickets placed, 92% of them are on Memphis, which is crazy to me. And the majority of tickets placed on Houston, this is according to DraftKings. This is on DraftKings. 84% on Houston. You got to wonder how much of that is people that not watching UFL and they're just clicking the underdogs. But I am on the underdogs here. I think the Stallions come out and kind of go through the motions. Yeah, they need a win for home field advantage, but when you're the best team that's dominated like them, do they care about that all that much? I think they're confident they're going to get a win at some point down the road in the next 3 games here and clinch that anyways. So I think they kind of go through the motions. The game's a little bit slower and Houston ends up covering. So yeah, 16.5 is a lot of points. I know you got
sprinkle that money
best.
line.
What's that?
Sprinkle that money line.
Sprinkle the money line. I know you got the best coach team against the worst coach team, but I still think it's a close game.
Well, trust me, Todd Haley was pretty terrible last year, and they got one past Birmingham because Birmingham was phoning it in. I don't know. What do you think about the total?
I like the under just because for Houston to win, I think it has to stay under, or for Houston to cover. I think it has to stay under. I think they can't let the Birmingham score 30 to 40 points or they're dead in the water.
24-21. Roughnecks pull the upset. Let's go.
40.
Let's go.
41-0 under in Birmingham.
All right, folks. Look, I want to tell you before we get to the next games on Sunday that you're listening to the UFL Gambling Podcast, and we're running a mega Memorial Day merch sale, 15% off everything in the merch store with the promo code SGPN May. Look, I'm wearing this Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Get on over there. We got that. We got Pick Dundee t-shirts. We got Bet Detective t-shirts. We got everything over there. Old-fashioned football t-shirts. Spring football guy t-shirts. Get on over there. What are you doing? 50% off everything. SGPN May is the promo code you want to use there. And sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Click on store. There's many ways. The app, the SGPN app, free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. So check that out. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet the second jewel of the Triple Crown with Naira Bets. Sign up today for a $200 deposit bonus with the promo code SGPN200. Join now to claim your $200 deposit bonus just in time for the Preakness at NairaBets.com/SGPN200. And gear up for Black-Eyed Susan Day at Pimlico. And boost your Preakness bankroll with Naira Bets. Opt in and bet at least $150 each on Belmont at the Big A and Pimlico on Friday for a $30 bonus, win or lose. Earn more on the Preakness Stakes. Bet at least $200 each on Belmont at the Big A and Pimlico for a $40 bonus, win or lose. Opt in to win at NYRABets.com. And that's not all. Score big with a with a 20% bonus on your ticket winnings by hitting an exacta on any or all races at Belmont at the Big A on Sunday. Get in and get your bonuses at NYRABets.com/SGPN200. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA playoffs are still rolling along, and our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy, wants to make it a lot more interesting for you. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and much, much more. You can make entries of all basketball players in the NBA, or you can mix and match. With NHL playoffs, MLB, you're going to ULF action, you got it all. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Underdog's available in 30 different states, including California and Texas, and of course, the great country of Canada. So what are you doing? Sign up, and sign up. When you do, sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back on the UFL Gambling Podcast, and we got probably the best game of the weekend going on at the Filthy Battle Dome there in St. Louis. DC, the Defenders coming in town with Greg Williams, and this is like the Eagles Redskins game in '90, the body bag game. No quarterback's going to play apparently. I highly doubt that McCarron plays, and that's why when I see the line sitting there at 7.5, 8. I'm jumping on the Defenders. We talked about this on Monday's show. St. Louis will dominate this game, which means the team that dominates the game normally loses. So DC will get the win in ridiculous form on a 4th and 12. I like that angle. And I think DC, I'm taking DC +8. I'm also on the over here at 44.5 because to me, if it's McClendon, I think with a week of prep, he'll be fine. If it's Tomo, I think they'll put up some points. If it's Manny Wilkins, the former Arizona State kid, I think he's decent. So I still think they'll be able to score the ball.
Yeah, Manny Wilkins is. Brandon Silvers, I'm looking at too. Is possible.
Oh, Long John Silvers is still in the league. There we go.
They say he will make the start if McCarron can't go.
Who will? Silvers.
Silvers will. Manny Wilkins.
I worry about all these coaches.
Silver's the quarterback, Manny Wilkins back up, and we also signed, of course, the Ball State product.
Drew Clitt. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Bet Detective?
I agree with the chat and Kitch and you as well. I don't think AJ McCarron plays. His ankle did not look good. I think it was all adrenaline led him to finishing that game there. He said he broke it. I don't know if he broke it. That would have came out, He also, you never calmly say, "Oh, I just broke my ankle." You scream because your ankle's fucking broke.
Yeah.
But the point is, I don't think he's played. There's no need to, but I don't think it'll matter. DC is such a mess. The rush defense is awful. I mean, that was just horrible. The tackling display.
They're your boys. You can't fade your boys now.
No, I've abandoned ship. I've absolutely fucking. It was personal, that attack on me. Tony Baloney. This is the second time they're playing. Of course, they buried him last time they played 45-12. Although that was a little. Kind of a conflicting score. They actually couldn't move the ball there very well. They had 25 fourth quarter points, all off turnovers, or 7-yard drive, 6-yard drive. It got round up at the end. But St. Louis is the better team. But they need to win. Tony Baloney put out a message on Twitter for the Battlehawk Fations to caw and show up. They will show up in St. Louis. This is just too much for a DC team, like you said, who has nothing going for them. The only thing they didn't.
Now we got a problem.
The only thing they did have going for him was Tamu, his inconsistent play, but at least he was moving the ball. Now, if he's out with the concussion and he's been struggling even more, they're just an absolute fucking mess. They have Francois. Did he get knocked out too? I believe, right?
He's out. I think he had maybe a season-ending injury, but
they put Harmon on the IR. They're shutting this thing down.
I told you, you're 2-3 injuries away from being a champion.
Okay,
this is perfect.
I will say DC does have something to play for. They're here. They're only here mathematically. They're here. They're 30. You can still get them at 36-1 to ship this title.
Smashed. Yeah,
but
smash
no,
that.
this is they are putting the dirt on the grave here. This is it. This has been an awful season. Nothing has gone right. It hasn't clicked. And Barlow's been exposed. Everything about this team has been disappointing. So I think St. Louis, even without McLennan.
J Mark. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. St. Louis. I have nothing to do. I have nothing. I like the under though.
Oh, no, man. Overs are hitting all week, buddy.
I know, but I'm talking about there might be no quarterback play here. And if there, that's a big drop off. If you're taking E.J. McLennan to St. Louis, and they will try to run the ball, and they'll be successful running the ball. Although not that throwing the ball doesn't stops the clock at all. I don't know the goddamn rules in this fucking league.
Wait. If you're bringing up the rules of this league, the rules are you want the over when backup quarterbacks are playing because the backups are better than the starters because no one can judge talent. You've seen it with Adrian Martinez was the backup, right? Guantanamo Bay was the backup.
Yeah. Brandon Silvers is not better than McCarron. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Beware what you wish for. I'm thinking it's Wilkins. That's the best. They need Silvers to go down. If they want to win a championship, they got to get an injury for Silvers. I'm on the over. J Mark, what are you doing here in this game with the total and the spread?
Yeah, surprisingly, I'm on DC. I think this, it's a do or die thing for them. The Battlehawks can lose this game and still be in the playoff race. The Defenders cannot. And
the league needs DC, man.
Yeah, the league needs DC. And I think that they are holding it a little personal. Battlehawks came into their house and gave them their first loss, and they're going to want to go into the Battle Dome and give the Battlehawks a loss, kind of a little payback here. So I like Defenders. I like Defenders money line, and I'm going to go with the over as well.
They're definitely vulnerable. St. Louis is definitely vulnerable without McCarron, for sure. No doubt.
Yeah.
Even with McCarron, Houston could have beat him. Fucking Arlington drops a touchdown at that filthy Battle Dome.
Arlington's the best team in the league. Don't act like that's slander.
Well, that's the next game, and that's just a lock. The Renegades are catching 2.5 or 3 against the Brahmas, depending on shop around. The total sitting at 46. What?
I'm saying 3 on DK.
46. They're gonna be 1,000 points in this game. I smashed the over, and then look. The Renegades are a better team than the Brahmas. Now I'm terrified that the Brahmas have this bullshit magic, but Wade Phillips, we won.
Wade's been hilarious. He's like, man, this league, I tell you what, it's exciting. He goes, I like the rules. That's what he said. He came out and said, I like the rules. Yeah, no shit, you like the rules, Wade. They're giving you half their wins.
Yeah, I mean, the Renegades are the better team. I will argue this all day. They're better than San Antonio. I don't want to hear this cockanimi stuff about this Brahmas team. And I love the fact that Hogan's on the bench here. Now, I will say, Dormandy in San Antonio in front of all that scattered ass.
I know.
Yeah, he is. It is a bit. It's challenging here. But look, this is another one the league needs the Brahmas to lose. If you're telling me the next 2 weeks there's no stakes, they got a problem. So, Renegades get it done, and they keep the race interesting for the Brahmas, DC, and the Battlehawks. I love the over. There's no way this under's hitting. I don't care. I don't care if Perez is injured, Lindsey Scott. I don't care if it's Hogan's Heroes coming in there. What are you doing? What are you doing, CJ?
Well, listen. I mean, I think Arlington could make a case for being the second best team in the league. At the same time, the one thing that can be their Achilles heel, though, is if you get to Perez. Obviously, he does not do good under pressure, and that's what San Antonio does. They lead the league in sacks. Wade Phillips' defense, they come after you. Their defense is good. I mean, say what you want about San Antonio, they have a lot of stars on their defense that can make plays and make this Renegades team. Let's not get. I love these Renegades team. I'm glad they got their W. They had the highest scoring game of the season of anyone last week, but it was against Memphis. But the Brahmas come out there, Jordan Mosley, Vontae Beckett. These guys have over, 58 tackles, 55 tackles. I'm looking at, these guys are 3 of the top 4 lead the league. They're in San Antonio. So if they knock Perez out, if they get to, which is very possible, or just get to him and make his day uncomfortable. And San Antonio is definitely playing with a better motivation. You don't know what Arlington's motivation is going to be. San Antonio, they win, they're in the playoffs. They win out, they have a home playoff game, which is kind of crazy. Arlington is eliminated, but as they say, as Dundee says in the chat says, get this cha-cha bullshit out of here. I'm still taking Arlington plus the 3 for sure. I think they'll be a little more carefree. And I do think they're a better team, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means.
Oh, I don't think it'll be a blowout either. I think they both run this. Yeah, I mean, Arlington's defense is still iffy at times, but I think Renegades are the better team. J Mark, what are you doing here, and what are you doing with the total?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. All over Arlington in this one again, just like last week, and I like the over on it. I think there's going to be a lot of points. And yeah, I think it'll be a close game too. I think Renegades pull ahead by 7-10 though, and not a blowout, but I think they beat them decisively.
Yeah, and the only thing I do worry about that, we all agree it'll be a close game. The history of close games this year is not well for Arlington and very well for Wade in these luck box Brahmas.
Yeah, true. 100%. I mean, I personally think the Brahmas are the second worst team in the league, and they're my power rankings had them way back there, but they're in first place right now, in a way.
They're gonna have a home playoff game. Watch out!
Unbelievable. Lock and dog. Those are the 4 games. Which game are you most excited to watch, guys? CJ, what is it? The DC St. Louis game? Is it Arlington San Antonio? What's the game that you just say, hey, I'm excited to watch this one?
Well,
none.
Yeah,
none.
These aren't great. These aren't great games, to be honest with you. And I know technically they do have something to play for. I'd like to see St. Louis. I kind of want to see what happens, especially if McCarron doesn't play. It'll kind of be a good parameter of what they actually are as a team. And I know he makes everything go, but we'll see what happens. I have a feeling they'll still be good and solid, just not nearly as explosive.
Yeah, J Mark, what's the game you're looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I want to see that DC Battlehawks game. No matter who draws a start at quarterback for either side, I think that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's a good rivalry too.
Yeah,
I agree. It's like the old Redskins, Cardinals, Neil Lomax against Jay Schrader and Theismann.
Stump Mitchell.
Oh, Stump Mitchell getting into Earl Farrell. Let's go. All right, my lock, the game that I feel best about the entire weekend. I'm gonna go Arlington. I think Arlington's just better than San Antonio. Now, I know it's living on the edge a little bit because Arlington has a history of just shit in the bed.
I know.
But I think they kicked it in. Getting that first win sometimes, man, I've been on teams where you get that first win and all of a sudden you start believing in yourself before you were calling this guy an asshole that's your teammate. All of a sudden you might catch a little something there. You might get a little confidence you didn't have before. So I'm gonna lock up Arlington. The dog to me is DC. I think DC's live, especially with no McCarrons. And I still think, I am going to sprinkle Roughnecks just for the fuck of it, just because I just the Holtz history of basically giving away one game. It's been happening for a long time, so it's worth a shot of just throw $50 out there on the Roughnecks. What are you doing, CJ?
Locking up Michigan. Panthers is absolutely smack Memphis. Memphis worst team. I don't think it's even close. The Memphis can't do anything on their defense. Carnell Lake's defense is a joke. Their offense is even worse. And Michigan looks good enough, and they're playing for position. So I think Michigan is a no sweat good way to start off the weekend. And dog, even though I made a good case for San Antonio, I got to stick with Arlington with my original thought of I think Arlington wins out after getting that first win.
I like it. J Mark.
Yeah, my lock is Arlington. That's the game I feel most confident about. My dog, little parlay action just for fun. Arlington, DC, and Houston, 114-1. Let's go.
Yes. Woo. Arlington, DC, and Houston, 114-1. I love it.
Let's go. Yep. Jump on in. All right, look, folks. Before
not a chance, but I love it. San Antonio is the one that's going to fuck it up. The other two are coming in, no problem.
Right.
Because we're all three on Arlington.
Folks, I want to tell you that the UFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Rhythm. The rhythm's gonna get you. Look, if you're betting on NBA player props, then you need to download Rhythm, and that's RITHMM. Spelled a little differently, but Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game, making it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on, essentially in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists that focus on fine-tuning our algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. What are you doing, folks? Start a free 7-day trial and start winning your NBA player props with Rhythm, available wherever you get your apps. So hop on over there. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. Yes, the MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down as it gets closer to the first pitch, with killer deals on with killer last minute deals. All in prices, view from your seat, and their lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. So what are you doing? Hop on over there and take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that redeeming code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, DFS. Look, DFS is tricky for me this week because you have the uncertainties at the quarterback spot. All right. You got a few different things here, but you know what I did? I don't give a shit if he's not getting the start. He's the best damn quarterback. He's the best damn quarterback not named Martinez. All right. Bryce Perkins, 8,600. Roster him up. I don't care if he's playing half the game. That means he's got to do what? Go. Last week they didn't need to pass the ball that much, so he went, I think, 11 of 13, and one of those was a called back touchdown. This week, I expect them to have to pass the ball a little bit more, and Bryce Perkins is their guy. And watch out for the sneaky rushing yards that Bryce Perkins can get you. So 8,600, not starting, not worried. All right, Bet Detective, what are you doing at the quarterback spot?
I told you. I want anything. I want everything to do with this Michigan game. I want anything. I don't care. I don't care if he is a backup quarterback. He's going to get in there, and they're all going to have succse, no matter what it is.
What does Lawrence Fishburne say in The Matrix? He's beginning to believe.
I am beginning to believe. I'm with you on Perkins. He's an NFL starter, for crying out loud. But that's not the point. The point is, I think they'll both get in there. They'll both get numbers. And I'd rather even have that than even an Adrian Martinez, who knows, how much long he'll play in a game. They might be up by 20, in the first half. So, like you said, there's not a lot of choices of 1A guys that are there, and you can be sure that they're going to play all 4 quarters. So I think Michigan puts up any number they want to against Memphis, and Perkins will be a part of it. It's 8,600, pretty good value.
8,600. Let's go. J-Mark, I'm guessing Luis Perez.
No. I thought about that. But like CJ said, San Antonio can get after the quarterback, so that scared me a little bit. I did struggle with who to pick as quarterback, and then I just ended up going with Martinez. He's got the wheels, he's got the arm. Just maybe that game, maybe we're completely wrong and it's a complete shit show blowout. Or I guess maybe CJ's right, and it's a complete shit show blowout, 41-0.
41-0.
So I had to go with Martinez.
He'll definitely get rushing stats no matter what.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to turn in a roster with Martinez too, but it's not my favorite roster. I'm showing the cojones of taking Bryce Perkins, who's not even getting the start. Other podcast is starting guys that aren't even starting.
I know.
All right.
And I'm a single entry guy, by the way. I don't have any fucking printouts and algorithms. I'm not mass 20 entries and fucking throwing out there and have all.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Perkins is my ride or die. Let's do it.
At the running back spot, there's one team that has a horrible rush defense. That is the Renegades. Give it, John. I love it. All right, because 9,400, I will pay up for that.
Wow.
CJ?
I also have Lovett, but he's not even my most expensive running back at 9,400. I'm going back to the well of 3-back attack powerhouse, who also has a terrible rush defense. Did we see last week? DC Defenders. Wait, Phil. I mean, Greg is talking about he's going to put a boot in her ass if they can't learn how to tackle. A barefoot in his ass, I believe it was the call. And who do they have with quarterback situation? They are going to run the ball. So
yeah, that message really got through to his team, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I think St. Louis runs the ball all day with Jacob Sailors for 9,500. I'll pay top price for that. And I'm going Sailors and Love It. You can already write him up if you want to play the music. I mean,
oh my God, he's loading up on his running backs. This is like when Auburn had Cadillac Williams and Rodney Brown at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like when Dick had traded his whole draft for Ricky Williams. Yeah, I like it. J Mark, what are you doing at the running back spot?
Yeah, to CJ's point, DC let Matt Colburn go for 137 yards. McCarron's banged up. They're going to need to rely on that run, I think. So I also have Sailors.
Wow.
Love it. You have to pay for him this week, I think.
Yeah.
But Love will have a monster game too. That's why I went with both.
All right. Well, look, my top wideout is Kirkland Vodka there. Look, Javante Kirk. Wait, what's his first name? Why am I drawing a blank on that?
John Trey.
Yeah, John Trey.
It's John Trey, right?
Well, I was getting him confused with Peyton, the Mississippi State kid. 7,700 for Arlington. Look, Arlington is going back to the well. They're starting Normandy. Mm-hmm. And they have a connection. So load up 10,300. No problem. Let's go. TJ, did you roster Kirkland?
I did not write. Well, I would obviously have no more money left for Kirkland because I'm going double elite backs and leave the name mispronunciation to me there, Dundee. But that's my department. No, I had to go cheap on the two receivers. I only went two receivers. I'm going three expensive backs. We'll get to that when we get to it. My most expensive of the two receivers only at 5,200 is Ty Scott for DC. Like I said earlier, Harmon was put on IR for DC, who is our number one receiver. The DC wide receivers are where you go for the bargain bin anyway. You never know who's going to come up. But Ty Scott, last week, he had 6 targets, which is fine and fair enough, with that offense. He had the big touchdown with the announcer where he told the equipment manager, it's time to catch on the 30, break it on the 40, and go for 60. The 30, 40, 60 rule. Yeah, he only had 2 catches. It was 84 yards and a touchdown because of that big one. But he had 6 targets, and now with Harmon out, he'll be the number one wide receiver for a game that no matter who one of those 3 quarterbacks are, they will be having to play up with St. Louis all night with a big total there.
Yeah, J-Mark, who's your top wideout?
Top wideout. He's on DraftKings as JP Payton. His name's Javonte Payton. Mm-hmm. He's had some big games recently.
I got him too. But yeah, I mean, you want action in that? Continue your point.
Oh yeah, just huge games recently. 27.9, 13.2, 24.2. He's the guy for the Renegades and Luis Perez. So yeah, I got to get him on the roster.
Yeah, I loaded up on him. It seems like their rapport is getting better and better with the coming weeks. So 7,700 with Javonte Payton. CJ, did you roster him at all? No, right? I
can't afford it, Javonte Payton. Are you crazy? What are you elitist snobs up there? It must be nice.
Well, look, give out your second then, because I already.
All right. My other receiver also cheap, 5,200 for Ty Scott. Now 4,700. My other receiver, like I said, I want all parts of this Michigan game. I want Samson Nakua, who had a nice little game last week. I get the Nakua brother. His brother, I think, is on IR, but he is out there. And with Perkins, had a nice little connection with him. He had 7 targets last week, 6 for 45 in a game against this Carnell Lake defense, where we know they're going to put up 40 no matter what, because that's what they do. Memphis gives up 40 points. So give me any parts of this Michigan offense. So for 4,700, you got to get some Nakua.
There we go. J-Mark, what are you doing here at the end? And look, you can Nakua's and they can play ball. Doesn't matter what league, right? Doesn't matter what team. What are you doing here, J-Mark, on your next highest priced wideout?
Yeah, excuse me. Much like CJ, I also had Ty Scott. He had a big game last week, or a decent game today, and I think he has another one.
Nice. DC's an interesting one with the wideouts. I will say that I didn't do it, and maybe I should think about that.
There's a market there.
Yeah, I went bottom dollar on my final wideout here. Was a tight end, but like I said, I think Michigan's going to be forced to pass the ball. And when I see $3,300 for Cole Hicatini, oh man,
that's pretty good.
Look, this is a guy that won me a shit ton of money a year ago, so maybe I overvalue him because of that. But I like Cole Hicatini, and that's my final play. J Mark, do you have him on the team?
I don't. I was between him and Ty Scott, so I like the play either way.
Yeah. Thank you. CJ, who is your final wideout? I'm assuming.
Absolutely not. Going wishbone here. 3 backs, T formation, and that one of not even chasing last week's numbers. Obviously, he had a monster game last week, Matthew Colburn. But like I said, anything, everything. Michigan this week against Memphis. So Matthew Colburn, reasonably priced, 7,500 for a back who had, like I said, 130 yards last week.
I thought about going him over Lovett. I think that's a good debate.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I don't like to debate those things, and give me all of them.
Yeah,
give me Lovett. Give me Sailors. Give me Colburn. Let's go.
I like it. J Mark. What about you, buddy?
Yeah, I got Kevin Austin for the Stallions. He's not getting a huge amount of targets. I mean, 3, 5, 2, 3, but he's a big play machine. And it seems like every game they have a couple of those big chunk yardage plays or big touchdowns. And he seems to be the guy that's getting them the past 2 weeks. So I had to get him involved.
Like it. So wait, my final guy, besides the defensive side of the ball, is, you guys saw CJ Marable's been ruled out. I forgot to mention that for Birmingham.
Yes.
So Larry Roundtree is back, the third, and I'm excited because Birmingham will get down in the red zone. Even if he only rushes for 30 yards, if he can get 2 touchdowns, you're good. All right, but for 5,000, undervalued a little bit. I like Birmingham backs. All right, the one time he did play, he did pretty damn good. So excited to see what he could do here at 5,000. Anyone got any other roster plays besides defense?
No, I like that Roundtree play though.
I got one more flex piece here. Sal Cannella. I rostered Peyton and Cannella last week. They both had 2 touchdowns. I think they keep that up. I think they kind of unlocked their offense finally. So I had Cannella in there.
There we go. I looked at Sal. The defensive side. To me, I had a hard time with this week. So then I just said, well, I have the money. Stallions against Reed Senate. Got to do it just in case. Even though I think Houston's going to cover. Just in case. Because look at the other matchups. The other matchups amazing. Tell me there's, I guess the other one would be Michigan. Michigan or Stallions would be the only ones worthy of playing. But so we know the worst offense in the league is Houston's. Take a shot on it.
We don't even have to we don't have to cut clips from the whole season of takes. We can just do it from the same episode of you playing up Houston get the win. You got Houston money line, and now the same episode.
All you need is a strip sack. Birmingham scores a defensive touchdown.
Listen,
something like that.
You don't got to convince me. I went, but the first thing I selected when I made my lineup was Birmingham defense. I said, I'm going to pay for Birmingham defense. It's the number 1 defense and the worst offense in the league. My handicapping ends right there. So I paid the $5K and then I moved my lineup from there.
They got a lot of guys out though.
They do. Yeah. They do. But Houston, like I said before, I went over to Houston stats are pathetic. They haven't, they haven't scored over 12 points in the last 3 games. Yeah. And those are against bad teams.
This is the week. J Mark, what are you doing on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I went with the team that's going to get a sack every other play, the Panthers. I just think they're going to live in that backfield and make like hell for the showboat. So I went with the Panthers, 4,600.
I think you got to roster one of the two. Like if you're taking Arlington or San Antonio, I think it's foolish. If you're taking St. Louis, maybe you could. I guess if I had to pick if I had to power rank the third one, maybe St. Louis, because DC's been so bad and their quarterback's uncertainties, and the fact St. Louis is at home. So maybe St. Louis would be the only other one I could see a value in playing. But folks, that's our show. We will be back Monday to break down all of the exciting action in the UFL. Make sure you check out J Mark on Twitter at JMarkFootball. Go over there, hit that follow, subscribe, whatever the hell. And subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/@UFL Gambling Pod. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. But also check out the Old Fashioned Football podcast that J Mark does. He also does the CFL Gambling Podcast with me, whose season's about to start. We already did a futures episode. This week we're looking at some win totals in the Canadian Football League. So check us out there. And then check out the Bet Detective, CJ Sullivan. Doing stand-up anywhere, buddy?
Tonight, I'll be at the West Side Theater in your neck of the woods.
Shit.
Over at Santa Monica on the third.
What time are you doing that?
It's an 8:00 show tonight, Friday o'clock. It's in the alley between 3rd and 4th. Is that right? Where that theater is located?
Yeah, buddy. I used to host a show. I used to run a show there.
Yeah.
Damn it, I was going to say, well, maybe I could stop by after because I'm on VSiN at 7:45. But
yeah, come on through. Come on through.
I'll try to hop by after my VSiN spot. But yeah, check out if you're in Santa Monica, California, check out the Bet Detective. Yeah. Also, check out the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. Very, very good podcast. Check it all out. And yeah, he's on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. Hit that follow button. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. Hit that follow button there. And also check out the Stadium Heads podcast, myself, Michael Barker, and the College Football Experience and the CFL Gambling Podcast. We hit you with a bunch of this shit. So check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. They're on VSiN tonight, like I said. 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on VSiN, VSIN. That's Brent Musburger's network there. If you have YouTube TV, you get that thing. Get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. And yeah. Until next time, folks, this is the UFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking for the gamblers. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know what you're getting because the books we written with the gamblers.
Single bar.
Everybody's trying to stop this team, but we keep on knocking them dead. They make opposing coaches wanna cuss and scream and pull their hair right out of their head. Run and shoot.